The cold void of space was pierced by the blaring alarms aboard the starship Intrepid. Captain Mark Reynolds stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. A distress signal had been detected from a vessel under attack near the fringes of the galaxy, far from any known trade routes. "Commander Bradford, status report," Mark commanded, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. "Sir, the distress signal is coming from a Xantharian ship. They're under heavy fire from a fleet of unknown attackers," reported Commander Neha Bradford, the ship's first officer. Mark frowned. The Xantharians were known for their peaceful and advanced civilization. Why would anyone attack them? "Helm, set a course for the distress signal. Maximum warp." "Aye, Captain," responded Lieutenant Tomoko Watanabe, the helmsman. The Intrepid surged forward, the stars stretching into lines as the ship accelerated to warp speed. As they approached the coordinates, the scene before them was chaotic. A sleek silver Xantharian vessel was surrounded by a swarm of smaller, aggressive ships, their weapons firing relentlessly. The Xantharian ship's shields flickered, struggling to hold. "Prepare for combat," Mark ordered. "Lock weapons on the attackers and open a channel to the Xantharian ship." The communications officer, Ensign Daniel Flores, quickly established a link. "Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Mark Reynolds of the starship Intrepid. We are here to assist. Hold on." A moment later, a regal yet frantic voice responded. "This is Queen Zelara of Xantharis Prime. We are under attack by space pirates. Please, we need your help." Mark nodded to his tactical officer, Lieutenant Jackson Torres. "Fire at will." The Intrepid unleashed a barrage of photon torpedoes and phaser blasts, tearing through the pirate ships. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as the attackers were caught off guard by the sudden intervention. The Xantharian ship's shields stabilized, and its defensive systems joined the fight. The battle was fierce but brief. The superior firepower and coordination of the Intrepid and the Xantharian ship overwhelmed the pirates. The few that remained fled into the void, their ships limping away in defeat. "Status?" Mark asked. "All pirate ships have either been destroyed or retreated, Captain," reported Jackson. "The Xantharian vessel is hailing us." "On screen." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the face of Queen Zelara. Her features were delicate and ethereal, with luminescent skin and eyes that shone like twin stars. She radiated an aura of calm authority, despite the recent chaos. "Captain Reynolds, you have saved us. We are in your debt," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. Mark inclined his head respectfully. "We were glad to assist, Your Majesty. Are you and your crew unharmed?" "Yes, thanks to you. We would be honored if you and your officers would join us on Xantharis Prime for a formal ceremony of gratitude." Mark exchanged glances with his crew. They all knew the significance of such an invitation. "We would be honored, Your Majesty. We will follow you to Xantharis Prime." As the link closed, Mark couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something much larger than a simple rescue mission. The Intrepid entered orbit around Xantharis Prime, a breathtakingly beautiful planet with lush green landscapes and towering crystal spires that shimmered under the light of its twin suns. The crew marveled at the sight as they prepared for the descent to the surface. "Prepare a shuttle," Mark ordered. "Commander Bradford, Lieutenant Torres, Ensign Flores, you're with me. Let's not keep royalty waiting." The shuttle ride was smooth, and they soon found themselves landing in the grand courtyard of the Xantharian palace. The architecture was unlike anything they had ever seen, with structures that seemed to defy gravity and logic, a testament to Xantharian ingenuity. Queen Zelara awaited them, flanked by her 3 daughters. Each princess was as striking as their mother, with unique features and an air of grace and strength. "Welcome to Xantharis Prime, Captain Reynolds," Zelara greeted warmly. "These are my daughters, Princess Cassandra, Princess Thalia, and Princess Kayla." Mark bowed respectfully. "It is an honor to meet you all. Your planet is truly magnificent." "Please join us inside," Zelara invited, leading them into the palace. The interior was just as awe-inspiring as the exterior, with glowing crystals that illuminated the halls and intricate carvings depicting the history of the Xantharian people. In the grand hall, a ceremony was held to honor the crew of the Intrepid. Speeches were made, gifts were exchanged, and Mark and his officers were treated to a feast unlike any they had ever experienced. As the evening progressed, Zalara rose to address the gathered guests. "Captain Reynolds, your bravery and selflessness have saved not only my life, but the lives of many. In Xantharian culture, such a debt is not taken lightly. We have a tradition, a way to solidify bonds and show our deepest gratitude." Mark listened intently, unsure of what to expect. Zalara continued, "I propose a union between our peoples, beginning with my daughters and yourself, Captain. Such a union would symbolize the alliance and friendship between Xantharis and humanity." A hushed silence fell over the hall. Mark was stunned. He glanced at his officers, who looked equally surprised. "Your Majesty, I am honored by your proposal," Mark began, choosing his words carefully. "But I must confess, this is unexpected. Such a union would be unprecedented." "Indeed it would," Zalara agreed, "but it would also be a powerful symbol of unity and cooperation. My daughters are skilled in diplomacy, science, and combat. They could assist you in your mission and help bridge the gap between our worlds." Mark looked at the three princesses, each meeting his gaze with a mix of curiosity and determination. He understood the political and cultural weight of Zalara's offer. This was more than just an alliance. It was a merging of destinies. "I accept your proposal, Your Majesty," Mark said finally. "Let this union be a testament to the bond between our peoples." The hall erupted in applause, and Zalara smiled warmly. "Thank you, Captain Reynolds. Together we will forge a future of peace and prosperity." As the night wore on, Mark couldn't help but wonder about the challenges and adventures that lay ahead. The journey had only just begun, and the galaxy awaited. The starship Intrepid soared through the vastness of space, heading towards Xantharis Prime with a sense of purpose and anticipation. Captain Mark Reynolds stood on the bridge, gazing out at the stars, his mind filled with thoughts of the journey ahead and the unexpected union with the Xantharian princesses. "Commander Bradford, how long until we reach Xantharis Prime?" Mark asked, turning to his first officer. "Approximately 3 days, Captain," Neha Bradford replied, her eyes scanning the navigational data. "We should use this time to learn as much as we can about Xantharian customs and culture." Mark nodded in agreement. "Agreed. Let's schedule briefing sessions for the crew. I want everyone to be prepared for what lies ahead." As the crew settled into their routine, Mark found himself in his quarters, reviewing the information provided by Queen Zalara. The Xantharian society was complex and highly structured, with a deep respect for tradition and honor. Understanding their ways would be crucial for the success of the alliance. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. "Enter," Mark called out. The door slid open to reveal Princess Cassandra, the eldest daughter of Queen Zalara. She entered with a graceful confidence, her eyes meeting Mark's with a mixture of curiosity and determination. "Captain Reynolds, may I join you?" Cassandra asked politely. "Of course, Princess Cassandra. Please have a seat." Mark gestured to a chair. Cassandra sat down, her gaze never leaving Mark's. "I wanted to take this opportunity to get to know you better, Captain. Our future depends on our ability to work together and understand each other." Mark nodded. "I agree, Princess Cassandra. We have much to learn from one another. Tell me, what can you share about Xantharian customs that might help us in the days ahead?" Cassandra smiled, her expression softening. "In Xantharian culture, respect and honor are paramount. We value wisdom and knowledge, and our society is built on the principles of cooperation and mutual support. My sisters and I each have our own strengths, and we hope to contribute to this alliance in meaningful ways. Your expertise in diplomacy will be invaluable," Mark replied. "And I'm eager to learn more about your people and their traditions." As they continued to converse, Mark felt a growing sense of camaraderie with Cassandra. She was intelligent and articulate, with a deep understanding of the complexities of their situation. It was clear that the princesses were more than just symbols of the alliance. They were capable and dedicated individuals. 3 days later, the Intrepid entered the orbit of Xantharis Prime. The crew prepared for their descent to the planet, excitement and nervousness palpable in the air. Mark, Commander Bradford, Lieutenant Torres, and Ensign Flores boarded the shuttle, ready to meet Queen Zalara and her daughters formally. The shuttle touched down in the grand courtyard of the Xantharian palace. As they disembarked, they were greeted by a delegation of Xantharian dignitaries, their attire elegant and their demeanor welcoming. At the center of the delegation stood Queen Zilara and her daughters. "Welcome to Xantharis Prime," Zilara greeted, her voice warm and regal. "It is an honor to have you here." Mark and his officers bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. The honor is ours." Zilara gestured to her daughters. "Allow me to formally introduce my daughters, Princess Cassandra, whom you have already met, Princess Thalia, our esteemed scientist, and Princess Kayla, our most skilled warrior." Thalia stepped forward, her eyes sharp and inquisitive. "Captain Reynolds, it is a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to sharing our scientific advancements and learning from your own." "And I from you, Princess Thalia," Mark replied, impressed by her keen intellect. Kayla, the youngest, approached with a confident stride, her presence exuding strength. "Captain, I have heard much about your prowess in battle. I look forward to training with your crew and defending our people together." Mark smiled. "It will be an honor, Princess Kayla. Your skills will be invaluable to our mission." As they entered the palace, the grandeur of the interior left the crew of the Intrepid in awe. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings and glowing crystals, creating an atmosphere of serene beauty. The delegation led them to a grand hall where a formal ceremony was to be held. During the ceremony, Queen Zilara addressed the gathered audience, her words echoing through the hall. "Today, we celebrate the beginning of a new era. The bravery of Captain Reynolds and his crew has forged a bond between Xantharis and humanity. Together, we will face the challenges of the galaxy and strive for peace and prosperity." As the ceremony concluded, Mark felt a sense of pride and responsibility. The alliance with the Xantharis was more than a political move. It was a commitment to a shared future. He knew that the journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but with the support of Queen Zilara and her daughters, he was ready to face whatever came their way. Mark Reynolds stood at the entrance of the Xantharian council chamber, feeling the weight of the task before him. The first trial, a test of diplomacy, awaited him. The chamber was an imposing structure, filled with representatives from various factions within Xantharian society. Their differences were evident in their attire and demeanor, each reflecting the unique cultures and interests of their regions. Princess Cassandra, standing beside Mark, offered a reassuring smile. "Remember, Captain, diplomacy is about finding common ground and fostering understanding. Trust your instincts." Mark nodded, taking a deep breath before stepping inside. The chamber fell silent as he entered, all eyes turning to him. At the head of the room sat the council leader, a figure of immense authority. "Captain Reynolds," the council leader began, "you have been chosen to mediate a dispute between two factions, the Aquarians and the Zephyrite. Their conflict over resource allocation threatens the stability of our society. We trust you will find a resolution." Mark glanced at Cassandra, who gave a subtle nod of encouragement. He approached the center of the room, where representatives from both factions awaited. The Aquarian representative, a tall, dignified figure with flowing blue robes, spoke first. "Our underwater cities rely on the rare minerals found in the depths of the oceans. We cannot afford to share them with the Zephyrite, who live in the mountains and have no need for such resources." The Zephyrite representative, a sturdy figure clad in green and brown, countered, "The minerals are essential for our technological advancements, which benefit all of Xantharis. We propose a trade agreement that ensures fair distribution." Mark listened intently, understanding the complexity of the situation. "Both of your arguments are valid. The Aquarians need the minerals for their cities, and the Zephyrite need them for technological progress. A compromise must be reached." He turned to the council leader. "I propose that we establish a joint mining operation where both factions can work together to extract the minerals. The resources can then be divided equally, ensuring that both underwater and mountain communities benefit." The chamber buzzed with murmurs as the representatives considered his proposal. The council leader nodded thoughtfully. "A joint operation would require cooperation and trust, but it could indeed benefit all." After a moment of deliberation, both representatives agreed to the plan. Mark's diplomatic skills had successfully diffused a potential crisis, earning him the respect and admiration of the council. As the session ended, Cassandra approached Mark, her eyes shining with pride. "You handled that brilliantly, Captain. You've proven that you are more than capable of navigating our political landscape." Mark smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you, Princess Cassandra. This is only the beginning. Together we'll face whatever challenges come our way." The following day, Mark joined Princess Thalia on an expedition to a remote Xantharian laboratory. Thalia, a brilliant scientist with an insatiable curiosity, had discovered an ancient alien artifact buried deep within the planet's crust. The artifact's potential was unknown, but its energy readings suggested immense power. The journey to the laboratory was arduous, taking them through dense forests and treacherous terrain. Mark marveled at the diversity of Xantharis Prime, its landscapes as varied as its people. "Thalia, how did you find this artifact?" Mark asked as they trekked through a dense jungle. Thalia's eyes sparkled with excitement. "We detected unusual energy readings in this area. When we excavated, we discovered the artifact. It's unlike anything we've seen before, and its potential applications could revolutionize our technology." They arrived at the laboratory, a high-tech facility nestled within a mountainside. Thalia led Mark to the artifact, which was housed in a secure chamber. The object was an intricate device, covered in strange symbols and glowing with an eerie light. "Our preliminary studies indicate that it has the ability to manipulate energy fields," Thalia explained. "If we can unlock its secrets, it could provide unlimited power or even advanced defensive capabilities." Mark examined the artifact closely, feeling a sense of awe. This could change everything, but it also poses a risk. If it falls into the wrong hands, it could be devastating. Thalia nodded solemnly. "That's why we must protect it. We need to understand it fully before making any decisions about its use." As they worked together, Thalia's expertise and passion for science impressed Mark. She was relentless in her pursuit of knowledge, and her innovative thinking pushed the boundaries of what was possible. Their research was interrupted by an alarm. The laboratory's security system had detected intruders. Thalia's eyes widened in alarm. "We must protect the artifact." Mark drew his weapon, ready to defend the laboratory. "Stay behind me, Thalia. We'll get through this." A group of armed mercenaries burst into the chamber, their leader barking orders. "Secure the artifact. No one leaves this room." Mark and Thalia fought fiercely, using their wits and skills to fend off the attackers. Despite being outnumbered, they managed to repel the mercenaries, securing the artifact. Breathing heavily, Thalia looked at Mark with gratitude. "Thank you, Captain. I don't know what I would have done without you." Mark smiled, his determination unwavering. "We're in this together, Thalia. We'll protect the artifact and ensure it benefits all of Xantharis." Their bond strengthened by the ordeal, Mark and Thalia continued their research, uncovering the artifact's secrets and paving the way for a brighter future for both their peoples. The peace of Xantharis Prime was shattered by the sudden appearance of an alien armada in orbit. The invaders, a warlike species known as the Dracarians, launched a full-scale assault on the planet, their massive warships darkening the skies. Alarms blared throughout the palace as Mark Reynolds and Princess Kayla rushed to the command center. The atmosphere was tense, the sense of imminent danger palpable. "Captain Reynolds, Princess Kayla, the Dracarians are overwhelming our defenses," a Xantharian general reported, his voice strained. Mark turned to Kayla, her warrior spirit evident in her determined expression. "We need to coordinate our efforts. The Intrepid and the Xantharian fleet must work together to repel the invaders." Kayla nodded, her eyes blazing with resolve. "Agreed. I'll lead the ground forces and coordinate the planetary defenses. Captain, you take charge of the space battle." As Kayla rallied her warriors, Mark contacted the Intrepid. "Commander Bradford, prepare the ship for combat. We're engaging the Dracarian fleet. Relay our strategy to the Xantharian ships and synchronize our attacks." "Aye, Captain," Neha Bradford responded, her voice filled with steely determination. The Intrepid launched into the fray, its weapons blazing as it tore through the enemy ranks. Mark directed the battle from the bridge, his mind focused on outmaneuvering the Dracarian warships. The Xantharian fleet, under his guidance, executed coordinated strikes, crippling the enemy's advance. On the ground, Kayla led her troops with unparalleled skill and bravery. Her combat prowess and tactical acumen inspired the Xantharian warriors, their morale bolstered by her leadership. They defended the key locations fiercely, repelling the Dracarian ground forces with precision and valor. The battle raged on, the skies lit up with explosions, and the sounds of war echoing through the air. Mark's strategic brilliance and Kayla's indomitable spirit turned the tide of the conflict. Despite the odds, they managed to push the Dracarians back, their forces retreating in disarray. As the last Dracarian ship fled the system, a cheer erupted from the Xantharian defenders. The planet was saved thanks to the combined efforts of humans and Xantharians. Mark and Kayla stood together, overlooking the battlefield. Their bond, forged in the heat of combat, was stronger than ever. "You fought with honor, Princess Kayla. Your people are fortunate to have you," Mark said, his respect for her evident. Kayla smiled, her eyes reflecting both relief and determination. "And you, Captain, have proven yourself a true ally. Together we've shown that our alliance is unbreakable." The celebration of their victory was short-lived. As the dust settled and the wounded were tended to, whispers of discontent began to spread within the palace. Mark and the princesses sensed an undercurrent of tension, something sinister lurking beneath the surface. One evening, as Mark and the princesses discussed their plans for the future, a messenger arrived, his face pale and anxious. "Captain Reynolds, princesses, you must come to the council chamber immediately. There is a matter of grave importance." They hurried to the council chamber where Queen Zalara and the council members were gathered. The atmosphere was charged with apprehension. "Your Majesty, what's happened?" Mark asked, his instincts on high alert. Queen Zalara's expression was grave. "We have uncovered a plot within our own ranks. A trusted advisor has betrayed us, working with the Dracarians to overthrow our rule." Gasps of shock echoed through the chamber. Mark's mind raced, trying to grasp the enormity of the betrayal. "Who is the traitor?" Princess Cassandra demanded, her voice trembling with anger. A figure stepped forward, shackled and flanked by guards. It was Counselor Varric, a high-ranking advisor who had been a close confidant of the Queen. His face was a mask of defiance. "Varric, why?" Queen Zalara asked, her voice filled with a mix of sorrow and disbelief. Varric sneered. "The Dracarians promised power and glory. I saw an opportunity to rise above the confines of tradition. Your rule is weak, Zalara. The Xantharis deserve a stronger leader." Mark felt a surge of anger. "Your greed and ambition nearly destroyed everything. You betrayed your own people for personal gain." Varric's eyes burned with resentment. "You humans think you can just walk in and change everything, but you know nothing of our struggles." Queen Zalara raised her hand, silencing the chamber. "Counselor Varric, your actions have brought shame and suffering to Xantharis. You will face justice for your crimes." As Varric was led away, Mark and the princesses exchanged looks of determination. The betrayal had shaken them, but it also solidified their resolve. "We must be vigilant," Thalia said. "There may be others who share Varric's sentiments." Mark nodded. "Agreed. We need to root out any remaining threats and strengthen our alliance. The Dracarians won't give up easily." Queen Zalara looked at Mark, her eyes filled with gratitude and trust. "Captain Reynolds, your bravery and integrity have been a beacon of hope for us. Together, we will rebuild and fortify our world." As they left the council chamber, Mark knew that the challenges ahead would be daunting. But with the support of Queen Zalara and her daughters, he was confident that they could overcome any obstacle. Their bond, forged through trials and triumphs, would be the foundation of a new era of unity and strength for both humanity and Xantharis. In the wake of the betrayal and the Dracarian assault, Xantharis Prime was a hive of activity. Rebuilding efforts were underway, and the planet's citizens were united in their determination to fortify their defenses and ensure such an attack would never happen again. The bond between humans and Xantharians had grown stronger, and the alliance was now more critical than ever. Mark and the princesses spent countless hours in meetings with Queen Zalara and her advisors, crafting the terms of their alliance. The discussions were intense, but the shared goal of mutual prosperity and security kept everyone focused. Captain Reynolds, Queen Zalara addressed Mark during one of their sessions. We need to establish a council composed of both Xantharian and human representatives. This council will oversee joint operations, trade agreements, and cultural exchanges. Mark nodded. I agree, Your Majesty. A joint council will ensure that our interests are aligned and that we work together seamlessly. Princess Cassandra added, We must also prioritize technological and scientific collaboration. Thalia's research with the artifact has shown that we have much to gain from each other's knowledge. Thalia, who had been working tirelessly to understand the ancient artifact, chimed in. The artifact's energy manipulation capabilities could revolutionize our energy production and defense systems. Sharing our discoveries will benefit both our civilizations. Kayla, ever the warrior, emphasized the importance of military cooperation. We need joint training programs and coordinated defense strategies. Our victory against the Dracarians was just the beginning. We must be prepared for future threats. With the framework of their alliance taking shape, Mark and the princesses visited various regions of Xantharis Prime, meeting with local leaders and citizens to explain the benefits of their new partnership. The reception was overwhelmingly positive, and the bond between the two peoples continued to strengthen. One evening, as they returned to the palace after a long day of meetings, Mark and the princesses gathered in a quiet garden, the air filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the soft glow of bioluminescent plants. Mark, Cassandra began, her voice thoughtful, our alliance is more than just a political arrangement. It's a symbol of hope for both our worlds. Together, we can achieve great things. Thalia nodded in agreement. We have already seen the potential of our collaboration. The artifact, the defense of our planet, and the unity among our people. All of it is proof that we are stronger together. Kayla, her eyes reflecting the light of the stars, added, We have faced many challenges, but we have also forged unbreakable bonds. Our future is bright because we stand together. Mark looked at the princesses, feeling a deep sense of pride and gratitude. I am honored to be part of this alliance. Together we will create a legacy of peace and prosperity that will endure for generations. The day of the official signing of the alliance arrived, a momentous occasion that was celebrated across both Xantharis Prime and Earth. The grand hall of the Xantharian palace was filled with dignitaries, representatives, and citizens from both civilizations. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation and hope. Queen Zalara stood at the podium, her presence commanding and graceful. Today we mark the beginning of a new era, an era of unity, cooperation, and shared destiny. Our alliance with humanity is a testament to the strength of our bond and our commitment to a brighter future. Mark, standing beside the Queen, addressed the gathered crowd. Our journey has not been easy. We have faced challenges and threats, but through it all, we have stood together. This alliance is more than a treaty. It is a promise to our people that we will strive for peace, prosperity, and mutual respect. The crowd erupted in applause as Queen Zalara and Mark signed the official documents, solidifying the alliance between Xantharis and humanity. The hall was filled with cheers and a sense of celebration as the new council, composed of both Xantharian and human representatives, was introduced. As the festivities continued, Mark and the princesses took a moment to reflect on their journey. They had come a long way from the day Mark had first received the distress signal from Queen Zalara's ship. Their bond had been tested and strengthened, and their alliance was now a beacon of hope in a galaxy fraught with uncertainty. Mark, Cassandra said, her eyes shining with emotion, we have accomplished so much together. Our people are united, and our future is filled with promise. Thalia, her scientific curiosity never waning, added, and there is still so much to discover and achieve. Our collaboration will unlock new possibilities for both our civilizations. Kayla, ever the warrior, placed a hand on Mark's shoulder. We have proven that we are stronger together. No matter what challenges lie ahead, we will face them as one. Mark smiled, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment. Together, We will build a future where our people can thrive. This is just the beginning. As the celebrations continued late into the night, Mark and the princesses looked to the stars, their hearts filled with hope and determination. The alliance between Xantharis and humanity was more than just a political agreement. It was a testament to the power of unity, courage, and the belief that together they could achieve the extraordinary. In the vast expanse of the galaxy, the future was bright, and their journey had only just begun.